Blood vibes. Time for some blood vibes. It's a work of fiction. Names, characters, settings, and incidents are either products of the author's imagination or are used fictitiously. Any resemblance between actual events or locales or occult magics or persons, living or dead, is entirely coincidental. Here we go. Please be advised this game contains textual descriptions and visual depictions of the following sensitive topics: blood, self-harm, suicidal ideation, violence. Yeah, based on the store description, it is kind of apt. While some visual depictions can optionally be disabled, textual descriptions cannot, as these elements are part of the story. So be advised. You'll probably experience some of it in the demo itself, as it is a core part of the origins of this story. Hello, Twin! Thank you. Before we begin, thank you for downloading the demo of A Tithe in Blood. Please note that this title is still under active development, and as such, this demo is being considered early, pre-beta, pre-release software. The assets that are in this version of the game are not fully finalized yet, and the save data created in the beta versions may not be compatible with the final release. Of course, if we pick up the full release down the line, we'll probably play from scratch, which is all A-okay. Some features also may not be fully implemented yet. That's curious. Or may not work entirely correctly. If you have any inquiries or feedback, please refer to the README for more information. All that being said, we hope you enjoy this game as much as we did making it. We no doubt will. Tithe in Blood. Press any button or click anywhere to begin. And here we are. Welcome to A Tithe in Blood by Studio Élan. It is described as a dark yuri visual novel. And yeah. Our protagonist here, Honoka Asakawa, down below, black hair, is the in the depth of her. Well, let me just read out the description of the score on the store page to accurately describe what's going to happen. In the depths of her grief, she discovers blood magic, and as such, is transported to the Hokkaido of a long-lost era, where she meets Yasue, the silver-haired gal. Once a renowned grand mage is lost in unchanging Sapporo, stuck in the Meiji-era. So we have curious magic afoot in the midst of grief, spanning time, bound by blood. Very intriguing cast of characters here. We'll see. I don't actually know how long the demo is, text-wise, but I'm going to give this a good try. Let's see here, content, actions, between fresh, enabled, visual, auditory representations. Ooh. Simulated, ooh. Oh, that's a really interesting. That's a really neat accessibility option here. That's a really neat accessibility option here. We'll keep that in mind. Font change, sound. Voices. Controllers. Very nice, alright. Let's begin, shall we? Flowers of summer shall wither, the leaves of autumn shall fall. Against a transient world, are doomed to defiance to the eternal folly of man.
冬の雪が舞い降りる。
And so, the winter's snow falls. Why does that poem feel very Frederica Berncastle coded? A terrible chill hangs in the air, the season proving bitter as it is so often here. On this cold day, a great throng of students slowly shuffles through the piled snow of the university grounds, the day's lectures finally over. Some gossip freely with friends, while others fawn over their partners. Most, however, stroll silently. Amidst this sea of people walks one unremarkable student among many. It went without saying that I'd go to university. I was called smart, clever, intelligent. I quietly liked the praise and saw no reason to fight others' ambitions for me. As long as people told me I was doing well, I hardly cared what I did. I wouldn't say I have a career in mind, nor any particular plan for the future. I barely chose this way of life at all. I simply fell into it. Things happened around me, and I followed the path of least resistance. I never considered what would happen if I had to think for myself. Oh, you're so real for that, girl. Oh, that's felt. That is so felt. That's the gifted student pipeline to depression. The train rattles and shakes as it trundles along the desolate city outskirts, the air inside stifling from the heaters. The seats always fill before I get on, so standing for the awkwardly long ride has become normal by now. With little else to do, I stare at the train doors. My thoughts soon turn inward, as they so often do in quiet moments. Not needing to study a day of high school has paradoxically made university all the worse. Faced with more difficult problems and never having needed to work at understanding something before me, I found myself restless. One might turn to friends for support, but by nature seems to drive others away. I always got on better with teachers than other students in any case. And that probably makes the peer bonding worse. Being buddy-buddy with teachers over students. The city outside becomes distant, its glass buildings reflecting a gray sky. The only color to be seen is that of the bright red Sapporo TV tower, its wireframe girders beaming through the white snow. Not having traveled outside of Hokkaido, it's difficult to view life here in an objective sense. That remoteness hasn't hurt the city, though. Having every convenience one could hope for, despite its distance from Tokyo. The snow season has brought the annual increase in tourists with it. A topic of some debate given the fuss and crowding they cause. The hotels and snowfields continue their trade, though. As while Sapporo may be the capital of Hokkaido, their money is still sorely needed. Cranes work day and night to build new apartments, the city's population ever rising. The bustling train station is one of the most modern in the country. A landmark of glass outside and high technology inside. Even the trains themselves are kept in eerily perfect condition, as if every trip were the first of the day. Sapporo never stops changing in order to keep up, as if locked in a rivalry with Tokyo's modernity. Is any of this right? I couldn't really say. Like me, everyone keeps going about their day in this ever-changing city, even as the past disappears around us for modern developments, new businesses, and more money. That place now passing by the train window is where I was born, and where I expect to die. Oof. Perhaps it's fate that I lived in this grayscale city, so fitting is it for someone like me. That's a walk from the station to my house is thankfully much shorter, but the idea of selling it and getting an apartment closer to school is something I've considered more than once. Having passed the local cemetery on the way, I enter. Having slipped off my shoes, the patter of feet on wood echoes about as I enter the spacious living room. A flimsy plastic bag carries dinner from the nearby convenience store in one hand, while the well-worn messenger bag for school remains strapped over my shoulder. As my eyes adjust to the light, familiar unease comes over me. The unease of true solitude. Haunting silence hangs in the air, the room's size only magnifying the effect. Few things provoke this unsettling feeling so deeply as an empty house which shouldn't be. Family home, which no longer has parents. With my money largely going toward university fees and keeping the house, most of the rooms have been neglected. The table before me might appear stately wooden construction, but the lie is exposed by the veneer having flaked off a corner, exposing cheap particle board. Ah. I'll go to a furniture store to replace it sometime, I think to myself as I hang my coat and bag. Of course, sometime is vague enough that I can rationalize away that time never coming. Oh, that's also a mood. Why is she just like me for real? With my food quickly growing colder, the house itself being a little warmer than outside, I settle myself down on the cushion. The air soon fills with the studied and monotonous voice of a television news presenter as I begin to eat. Lukewarm set meal is, for better or worse, consistent in the way convenience store food usually is. The same goes for the bitter green tea, which washes it down. The occasional click of chopsticks is all that serves to punctuate the uninteresting news report. Woman's voice rattling off the details of another traffic accident for the snow-covered roads. A routine day, much like any other this year. My attention beginning to drift from disinterest, my eyes settle on the cardboard box to the side of the table. I have hardly considered throwing it away, but like most, I decide to use it for storage. For what and when, I hardly know. It still has the shipping label attached now that I look at it. I think that one thoughtless order of an otherwise nondescript book for some second-hand store would change so much of my life. The idle thought confirms my plans for the evening. Putting myself to work in order to calm my nerves, I turn off the television and sort the remnants of dinner into burnable and recyclable trash. With that, I take a long breath and head to the study. And as I walk up the stairs, I become acutely aware of the sensation from the bandages on my left arm. A now permanent reminder of this grim pastime. A lavish room is revealed as I enter. A musty smell of books and old furniture hanging in the air. The haphazard collection of antiques and oddities is the result of a year haunting local antique stores and online marketplaces. Anything to take my mind off of what was happening around me. That sure is a circle of blood. My eyes move down to the floor. What started as pleasant dark wood is now blighted with remnants of dried blood. The stains run deep, no matter how hard I've tried to clean it. The sight going unnoticed by anyone else is one of the few advantages to living alone. Yeah, if you were renting, you would not get your security deposit back with that. Stepping around, the faded remnants of chalk between the wood panels, I stride over to my desk. My laptop full of translation notes lies to one side, while a time-worn leather-bound book lays open on the other. It's likely the oldest object for many miles around, and treated accordingly. Note assortite sulla natura della magica del sangue. Title alone made me curious. And curiosity would soon develop into obsession. Before long, the obsession turned from the intellectual to the practical. Just throw a rug on top, no one will notice. Hey, yeah, exactly. No one needs to know. Like, who's gonna look hard enough for that? Sangue. Blood. Hello, Red. Are you ready for blood vibes? With some reverence, I carefully leaf through the pages. Words of the author, one Isabella di Morla, speak across the ages as I scan the page. Translating the Italian text has been slow going, not helped by its archaic form, but what progress I've made has yielded good results. Yet literally a book of assorted blood magic. Red, why'd you pin that? I'm gonna say, please undo that. Why'd you change the pin, Red? Undo it. Okay, rather it's been my body which has slowed me more than anything else. Looking between the floor several times, and book several times, I attempt to visualize the patterns. Need to replicate Isabella's experiments. The glyphs and patterns are strange and complex, more than one attempt ending in dismal failure. I have had fingers and click everything by mistake. Okay, understandable. No worries. Realizing I've begun to draw this out to avoid the necessary pain for as long as possible, I set the book down at its open page and set about the preparations. We need Cece from yet another killing game. She would rock this. Oh, that's as powerful. Taking a piece of chalk from the pile of seemingly unrelated items on my desk, I kneel down and begin to retrace the intricate plans detailed on the book's pages. Every so often standing to consult the sketches I'm using as guides, there's an odd beauty to the intricate patterns slowly appearing on the floor. One concentric ring is followed by another, mysterious symbols and figures filling the spaces between them. Isabella's process of experimentation and discovery, result of a great mind imprisoned by her family, has been fascinating to uncover page by page as my translation progressed. Trying to replicate her results would soon prove even more intriguing. Slowly but surely, the detailing comes to an end and the last of the lines meet. Coming to my feet, I set the chalk back down and set about the more distasteful side of the process. The blood. Ah, yes. My heart racing, I pull up my left sleeve to well above the elbow, revealing my blotchy, cream-colored bandages stretching down a good portion of my arm. There's a strange feeling in keeping something hidden despite being surrounded by oblivious others. Little by little, I unravel the dressing, leaving enough at the top of my arm to avoid it falling. As the skin beneath is revealed, one dark red line after another blights the pale flesh around it. Some have already scarred, soreness and itching reminding me of their presence. I see why there's an option to turn this off now. Reaching to the desk, I take my knife in hand. The blade is nondescript by choice, brought along with random items I didn't need to avoid arousing suspicion. Bringing it to my arm, I hover above a spot below the last cut in hopes of not interfering with its healing. My heart begins racing as the knife settles against the skin. The sound of my breathing is maddeningly loud as it reverberates around the room, becoming ragged. My knuckles whiten as I clutch the knife's cold metal handle in my shaking palm. I dearly hoped this inhumane act against myself would become more natural. Even now, my instincts scream at me to stop. Instinct isn't so easily snuffed out. As the moon's light glints off the coldly utilitarian blade, I press the tip of the knife to the side of my arm. In one practiced motion, I overcome my body's pleading and force myself to slice the blade across. Pain lances through my body and mind, the gritting of my teeth the only thing stopping my painful whimpers from escaping. The tool's job done, I throw it to the ground and clutch my arm tightly. Dark crimson fluid seeps from the open wound, soon flowing freely down my arm and over my hand. Crouching down, I put myself to work to pull to get what attention I can from the wound. Putting my hand out before me, I straighten my index and middle fingers, as thick, warm blood begins to drip from them. Try my best to minimize my nervous shaking, the chalk outlines soon turn red as I trace them out at a slow but steady pace. I have to take this carefully, I remind myself. My body can't afford to do this often. Every attempt meaning days of recovery. I'm already weak, and the winter's efforts hardly help. As the last of the white chalk turns to a wine dark red, I stand once more and glance about. Moonlight reflects off the fresh blood, a slow trickle still dropping to the floor from my arm. A certain dissonance strikes me between the messy red spatters strewn across the floor and the intricate Byzantine patterns they form. See game title, yes. Panicked thought of The panicked thought of this being some descent into madness briefly passes my mind. What madman, what crazed murderer could stand in such a spectacle and think themselves sane? See game title. Surely the evilest thing of them all. Vampire taxes. Rather than fear such thoughts, I treasure them as I close my eyes shut. The confirmation that I have not yet lost my mind. I can still see this from the outside. How's it going, Clever? I'm still human. As the book says, I concentrate on imagining the symbols and patterns around me in my mind. My emotions begin to shift and ebb, my nerves somehow becoming swept along in this strangely calming sensation. Oh! As if caught in a river, my thoughts begin to flow. Rather than fight it as I first did, I allow the slow and uneasy trickle to take me, surrendering to the movements in my mind. Some are pleasant, Others horrendous, but all prove fleeting and impermanent. What was a river soon becomes a torrent, identifiable memories and concepts becoming abstract and indistinct. Thoughts, feelings, sensations all merge together in a surging rush. All physical sense of my body long gone as every emotion pours through me at once. In the swirling and flowing mass, the bedrock below it all begins to sway in the swelling flood. A sense of self nudges at rocks at first, held by the deepest roots, yet little by little against the surging flood. I... Ooh. The soft grass gently presses against my cheek, the dew of early morning contrasting to the sun's warmth. My eyes slowly open, but my body feels too heavy to move. Far from being unexpected, it's now a familiar feeling. My mind too dull to do anything more. I silently watch the flow of flowers before me and gently sway in the breeze, while birds squawk in the far distance. It's all so different, and so warm. As if waking from a terribly long sleep, I wearily pick myself up, and my senses slowly return. A cloudless blue sky hangs above, with the lush green of the unkempt forest surrounding me. It's all so idyllic. Here there's no bright red tower piercing a sullen sky. The world which stretches out before me couldn't be farther from the hustle and bustle of the city I've left. The warmth of spring and its many scents confuses my senses, jarred by the shift from the cold winter's night I left. The only blemish on the scene is a column of faint smoke from workshops in the far distance, peeking about above the tree canopies.
魔法が成功した。
The magic worked. I thoughtlessly say the words to nobody in particular, the nature of what I've done no less surreal to me now than the scant few other times I've successfully managed it. So where are the vampire taxes? We may have been transported to the vampire tax collector. Hard to say. Unfortunately, my senses returning to me also means that pain is among them. Here's the vampire tax. I quickly set about rebinding my bandages, lest anyone here see the scars now disfiguring my forearm. Groaning, I focus on making sure they're done tight and firm before fixing the ends once more. As much for myself as any other, I roll my sleeve back down afterwards to avoid the temptation to look. Adjusting my glasses and dusting myself off with my uninjured arm, I set off toward the town ahead. The town of Sapporo. Empty horse-drawn tram trundles along past my field of vision, the steed's hunchbacked owner patiently letting it trot along at a leisurely pace. It pays me little heed as they pass, the clatter of hooves blending with the sounds of passer-by. Oh cool, they turned the drink into a town. Funny how that works. The shadows are small, so it must be around noon. The flow of time here always throws me off. As I so often do when I come to this place, I find myself just watching, strolling through, as if in a daze, caught up in observing this strange and foreign world. Yet this foreign-feeling world is also strikingly familiar. For reasons unknown, the magic I've been attempting, transference, has reliably transported me here. When I should be in some other country, I instead arrive in the same location, but a century ago. Strangely dressed newcomer soon lost her novelty to the people here, few giving me such much as a passing glance as they go about their day. Words can't express how glad I am for the attention fading. Okay, so this is not the first time. Perhaps I should be glad it's the Meiji-era. My modern clothing would be just another strange dress to them. Some of those walking before me mix Japanese and Western fashion styles, even now to varying degrees of success. A couple of children run by, happily chasing one another along the street. It all feels so different to the grayscale photos and dry documentaries about the Meiji-era, or about history at all. People here feel alive and varied, from the dour to the cheerful. My idle stroll comes to an end as I reach my usual destination. Outside the kabuki venue stands the brightest person here, happily seeing off someone she'd been chatting to before noticing my arrival.
あら、またいらっしゃったのね。お帰りなさい、浅川さん。
I see we have a visitor. Welcome back, Miss
こん
Asakawa.
にちは、安江さん。元気そうで何よりです。前にも言ったでしょ。 安江でいいって。せめて一人くらいは堅苦しいこと抜きでおしゃべりできる相手が欲しいの。
じゃあ私のこともほのかって呼んで。
Despite my best efforts, I wilt for her sunny disposition as usual. I'm hardly even able to make eye contact as I mumble my reply. Yasue takes the comment in stride, her cheeks hinting at the smile hidden behind her fan. My arm suddenly aches from my wound, causing me to reflexively reach over and clutch it. Such pain is a constant reminder of the cost to get here. The tithe a normal person has to pay to mimic the magic afforded to mages. We have found the vampire tax. Oh. True mages, such as Yasue. Her magic is no less amazing to watch now as when I first saw it. With mages so few in number in the normal world, and those that do exist keeping a low profile, I'm in some ways blessed to meet one who uses their abilities so openly. The love interest for the main character who's a girl, right? Yes. Wasn't. You are correct. This is in fact Yuri. Clever. Which? White hair? Magic? It kind of tracks, Red. There we go. There they are.
大丈夫。少し疲れただけだから。
Accepting my waving off of her concern, Yasue turns to begin walking, casting a glance behind her to invite me. I quickly skip up alongside as she begins to slowly stroll the streets, stealing the occasional furtive glance at the woman as we go. Well, she's a pretty person in general. I've never quite been able to place her age. It'd be terrible at guessing such things normally, but it's her hair which throws me off entirely. I'd call it bleached white, but it looks natural despite her youthful face. Sniff. Finding myself self-conscious, I run a hand through her bangs to neaten them before adjusting my glasses just so. I'm not particularly good at things like fashion, but for this one person, I want to put in some kind of effort.
どこへ向かっているの?
What is this game actually? A visual novel genre? Murder mystery detective? No. It's hard to say, because Honoka is an ordinary college student who has discovered, yeah, I'm whispering here. Gay, homosexual gay. Yes, that is the genre, Clever. That is the genre. This woo.
特に当てはないわ。今日の公演が終わったから少し散歩しようと思ったの。
Well, basic premise here. Honoka lives alone, likely because of a parental bereavement. Honoka has been studying blood magic to cope. Every time Honoka uses blood magic, she ends up here, which is Sapporo of a century ago. So that's our core mystery so far. So I'd call it supernatural. Dark supernatural mystery, Yuri.
一緒に過ごせて嬉しいわ。でも疲れたらすぐに行ってね。隠そうとしても分かっているのよ。無理を。
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. She does her best to make the remarks as gently as possible, but her point is made. I've been hoping she wasn't troubled over such things, but it's hardly the first time she's seen right through me.
何もかも夢みたい。札幌の街が100年前はこんな風だったなんて信じられない。
遠い未来の方にはさぞ古めかしく見えるでしょうね。どうしたの？急に考え込んで。
なんでもない。ここに初めて来た時のことを思い出していたの。
あの時のほのかったら迷子の子猫のようだったわね。この世界を見つけてくれたのがあなたみたいな女の子だなんて思いもしなかったわ。
A little lost kitten. Yeah, Honoka gives me those vibes. Yasue punctuates her observation with a churlish laugh, raising my spirits. As we head onto a side street, Yasue stops to greet a friendly hauler walking by. The man happily begins to chat as he adjusts the yoke across his broad shoulders, sacks of goods tied to either end. Not wanting to intrude, I let my thoughts drift back once again. I stumbled about in the grips of terror for some time, wandering in the town, knowing nothing of where I was or how to escape. Frozen in fright, I slinked along the side of the streets, onlookers struck by the bizarre clothing I wore. How fortunate I was for some children to run and fetch Yasue. When she first caught sight of me, I wondered which of the two of us was the more surprised. He sensed I was of a different time than the others and took me under her wing without a second thought. Even now, I still feel like her helpless kitten. She doesn't know the scene in my world which led to that first journey, though. I wonder if she'll think differently of me for it. As the hauler shuffles off and we start walking once more, Yasue speaks up. Few of our conversations are started by me, though she seems unperturbed by this.
最近はどう？平穏な生活を送っていると言っていたわね。
平穏。そうかも。大学に行って、帰宅して、夕飯を食べて、寝るだけの変わり映えのしない毎日だから。安江は？この世界は札幌だけで、札幌の人しかいないんでしょ？
That's concerning. Yasue nods solemnly. I dislike reminding her of the fact, but I have only the most vague understanding of such things. Time travel or alternate dimension? Possibly unknown. Unknown. To be determined.
昔、私たちがこの世界に封印された時、ここは不変の世界となった。私たちにとって今のこの姿が全てということなのでしょうね。
Sealed away. Huh.
と言っても、あなたが来るまでね。長い歳月を経て、現実世界から人が来た時は言葉にできないほど驚いたわ。
She giggles once more, smiling to herself at the memory, how easily she laughs off her own past awkwardness. First impression I had of Yasue was perhaps the expected one. So many photos blend together of people in formal outfits, stiff poses and stern, serious faces. While they may try to humanize history in school, there's only so much a museum trip or classroom lecture can do. My preconceptions would be dispelled in moments. In so many ways, she juxtaposed her ladylike properness with a carefree spirit. Her hair is lavishly cared for, yet flows freely rather than being tied up. Her speech is archaic and uses long obsolete words, only for her to chat naturally and openly. She dresses traditionally, yet gestures widely and wears her emotions on her sleeve. I know full well I'll be going over every conversation we have in my head for days, if not weeks to come. Angsting over every misstep or hesitation, overthinking every expression or pause. Oh, she really is just like me. Yet Yasue will do no such thing. Everything flows off her. It's graceful in a manner, albeit not quite in the way I expected that word to be used. For someone of an era barely past samurai and daimyo.
がっかりさせたらごめん。でも、私にできるなら、あなたをこの世界から助け出したいの。
Honoka also apologizes too much, I bet.
あなたは偉大な魔術師ではないでしょうけれど、知り合いと本当に嬉しいと思っているの。この世界に初めて来たのが、むしろほのかのような人でよかったわ。
Not knowing how best to react to her praise, I bashfully look away. My driving desire to be complimented is one of my uglier traits. I can only hope it's one of the few things Yasue hasn't perceived of me. I soon realize I've been rubbing my arm out of anxiety. For all her praise, I still feel as if I'm telling a lie by omission. How would a mage react to finding that one before them is some regular person mimicking their abilities through such methods?
一つ聞いてもいいかしら。答えたくなければ無理にとは言わないわ。
ええ。
ほのかはおいくつかしら。あれほどの術を使う魔術師にしては随分お若そうね。
Oh no, that's only going to make her feel worse. Jump in topic forces me to think over the answer for a moment. I can't will myself to tell the truth when she gives such a convenient excuse not to.
少し前に20歳になったばかりかな。
ということはまだ。
Haven't. She trails off before finishing her sentence. Her expression concern. Left at a loss for words, only growing worse as the spark of realization brightens her face.
安江？
来て、後悔はさせないわ。
Once again, I find myself working to catch up with the cheerful woman. Dim lamps struggle to illuminate the tables around us, the izakaya's air filled with the chatter of patrons and a heavy scent of tobacco. With liquor flowing freely and so many in the tight space, the air is taking on a distinctly muggy feel. Many of the animated faces around us flushed a bright red. My gaze rests on the waitresses skittering from table to table, dainty feet and sandals tapping quickly to keep up with the pace of orders. It's a little uncanny. Everything about the experience is so close to a normal restaurant, yet just different enough to throw me off. As always, I do my best to avoid accidentally catching the eye of anyone in particular. Yasue does no such thing, instead looking at me with an indulgent smile.
どういうこと？私の誕生日祝いならこんなことしてくれなくてもいいのに。
At this, Yasue makes a show of pouting.
ほのかはいつもそう。私があなたのために何かしようとすると遠慮するの。
Cute.
あなたの
遠慮してるわけじゃないわ。ただ
大将、こちらのお嬢さんに地元のビールをお願い。
Man beyond the counter, as yet unseen, yells out his agreement in a hoarse voice.
ちょっと待って。私20歳になったばかりだし、まだ飲んだことがないのよ。
ならちょうどいいわ。いい
Right.
試してみましょうよ。
What could go wrong? I easily give up my protest and let how happy she is to be treating me like this. I had been too shy to fumble my way through dealing with the bar, and I wouldn't know what alcohol would be good to start with in the first place. Our drinks arrive quickly, the old man, perhaps the owner, personally bringing the bottles and glasses to our table. Yasue doesn't notice my confusion as she stops to pull out the cork in each. Even I know these usually have bottle caps.
40銭だよ。毎度。
Yasue quickly obliges, passing him 2 odd silver coins. This is the first time I've actually seen sen being used. Regardless, the man cheerfully takes them before hobbling back off past the curtain. I hadn't taken her for a beer drinker, but she's clearly looking forward to this more than I, as she gives an eager smile. Trying to paper over my confusion, I quickly take one of the bottles in hand. Supporting it in one hand and tipping it with the other, I gently pour the amber liquid into the cup, now held by my senior's delicate spindly fingers. Yasue returns the gesture soon after. An inviting, thick, foamy head forming on the glass I cradle. The calmly bubbling beer gives off a floral scent, a sharp contrast to the mess of crimson which brought me here. The smell of blood now uncomfortably familiar. I peer over my drink to Yasue, gaze patiently gauging my reaction. Perhaps it's my distrust of others or my own anxieties causing me to overthink every gesture, but I find myself unable to plainly accept what should be a kind gesture.
こんなことしてもらって本当にいいの？私、安江に何もしてあげてないのに。安江は
あら、自分の誕生日を祝いたくないの？
そうじゃないの。ただ
I expected Yasue to defend herself. Instead, she stares at me intently, as if examining an interesting specimen before her. Maybe this is no different to how we've been interacting this whole time, another of her elaborate plays, but this time without a script at hand. Each of us left to take our cues from the other, judging and moving in step with the other. As a particularly rowdy patron gives a boisterous laugh beyond us, Yasue smiles and closes her eyes in defeat.
ごめんなさい。押し付けがましかったかもしれないわね。
Oh,
新しい方が来るなんて本当に久しぶりで、いつかあなたを失うかもと思うと少し怖いの。
oh no. Of course she'd be scared. She'd been sealed away for so long. Everyone here has been. That I'm important enough to Yasue for her to feel that way about me, even if it's only by circumstance, is oddly nice. It's been so long since I felt needed by someone. Least I can do is appreciate her generosity.
約束する。これからもできるだけここに来る。この世界はタイムカプセルみたいで、学生としても興味があるし。そういうわけだから飲もう。私の誕生日のためじゃなくて、二人の約束のために。
Oh, very noble. We'll keep giving back. As a student, her smile is enough of an answer, the pent-up tension in my body releasing. An odd sense of purpose sparks inside of me, first time I've perhaps felt in my life. With that, we both lift our glasses to our lips and take a long sip. In the end, I only had a few sips of the bitter stuff. That's right, beer is nasty. It's water. Thankfully, Yasue. It might have been better a century ago. I don't know. But can't stand beer. Don't like it. Thankfully, Yasue, who was only too happy to oblige in drinking both of our bottles and a couple more besides, seems the taste of alcohol will take some getting used to. I heard that drinking before evening is odd, let alone at noon. Yasue seems to hardly care, though, her face now flushed and gestures decidedly more animated. Of all the images I had of a lady from the Meiji-era, the joyful carousing woman skipping beside me isn't one of them. She gives me a slightly uneven smile and offer a polite bow.
ありがとう、ヤスエ。今日は楽しかった。
Does time pass at the same rate here and in the real world?
あんまり飲めなくてごめん。もっと慣れなきゃね。今度飲みたくなったらまた付き合ってよ。
Oh, Yasue is going to find the drink for you. Here's a piece of wisdom, like, at least my experience, having people around me who, like, drink a lot, and notably being the guy who does not drink, like, they're not pushy, but they're always talking about stuff I should try. They're always recommending stuff I should try to get me onto it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, so Yasue is going to find a way. Let's be real.
喜んでご商売に預かりましょう。
Oh, smile! Cute. Perhaps to the drink, or simple tiredness, but I find the corners of my mouth lifting. Just a little. I wonder if this stupor will last in the real world, now that I think of it. The passing thought only reminds me of the greater lie. Perhaps it's genuine honesty after hearing her own. The drink making me less inhibited, but I want to tell her the truth.
ヤスエ、伝えたいことがあるの。私があなたをこの世界から出してあげられない理由は、方法がわからないんじゃない。魔術師じゃないからよ。
Oh, okay.
あなたと違って私は
We are crossing
普
this.
通の人間なの。
We're crossing this bridge early.
でもならどうやってこの世界に？
As I glance about at the people going about their day as around us, Yasue senses my want for privacy.
こちらへ。
After a fair hike well beyond the town's limits, we arrive at the edge of the forest surrounding Sapporo. There's a peaceful serenity to this place that I've yet to find in my own world.
思い悩んでいることがあるなら言ってちょうだい。あなたのことなら何でも受け入れるわ。
The fact that she cares should make me feel happy, but it stings my heart too. She doesn't know. She couldn't know. Taking a long breath to steady myself, I look down in shame and pull my left sleeve upwards, tug by tug. Oh, the shock on her face. Before long, the bandages show. Their length chases further and further up my arm, the beige gauze discolored by a blotch of bright scarlet. Fresh blood has pooled by now, the wound still proving sore as my sleeve drags over it. As I dared to look up at Yasue, the woman wears a mournful expression, striking compared to her gentle demeanor.
あなた、自分に一体何をしたの？
Oof.
実は私にもどうなっているのかわからない。ずっと昔に誰かが書いた本に普通の人間が後天的に習得した魔法の力を呼び起こす方法が書かれていたの。仕組みはよくわからないけど、その本の通りにやるとこの世界に来られるようになったの。でもそれを発動させるには血が必要で、その本はイタリア語で書かれていて血の魔法っていうみたい。
In response to my fast-paced explanation, her eyes close. I can see the gears turning inside. The connection between my general frailty and rapid exhaustion when visiting now plain.
ほのか。
I know what she's going to say next. Neither of us want to hear the words. Trust me, just because something's in Italian doesn't mean you should do it.
別に死ぬわけじゃないから、そりゃ体に負担はかかってるけど、これくらい。お願い、もう来るななんて言わないで。安江にもっと会いたいの。
He thinks for some time, before giving a heartbreaking smile of defeat.
来させないなんてことはできないわね。
I'd rather she have scolded me. Without any further defense to be made, I fall silent while looking at nothing in particular.
ほのか、自分を大事にね。あなたと知り合えてどんなに嬉しいかわからないでしょうね。でも、お願いだから自分の命を危険にさらすようなことはやめてちょうだい。わかってもらえるかしら。
Red, you say trust me to that like you've done something and you've done something that's written in Italian. What did you do, Red?
心配させてごめんなさい。
Oh. As I scuffed my feet on the grass in angst, I noticed Yasue's shadow moving nearer. As I look back up, my body freezes at how close she's become. Without a word, she reaches out with those long, dainty fingers and grasps the corners of my glasses, subtly evening their positioning on my face. With that, Yasue steps back and smiles simply.
そういうのはね、私たち研究者がすることなのよ、おバカさん。
Obaka-san. Her point made, Yasue's smile slowly wears off. The time to say goodbye draws near. Where the next visit will be is difficult to say, but the fact it will come is certain. I'm not sure if it's imagined or not, but I feel Yasue's become more comfortable with that fact. Understandable for a maid seeing their first visitor in 100 years.
ほのか、お大事に。
You're waiting for Honglu Kanto. Oh, real.
ありがとう。またね。
Aw. You're happy. Oh, there's a time limit on the... Oh, hi, I'm bleeding out. My head presses to the hard wood beneath its hard... My head presses to the hard wood beneath its hard, cold surface, rousing me. Barely opening my eyes, I let myself stay in place as my senses slowly returned to me. The smell of musty blood, chalk. Musty books, chalk, and blood plays on my nose, the sense making an unpleasant concoction. The yuri had blinded me! Yuri flashbang! But, oof. Okay, so she's actually transported. There, physically. Because her arm is bandaged up, and she bandaged herself up when she first arrived in Sapporo. That is kind of a relief. She's just back here. In the blood. My body feels impossibly heavy. My stupor seems to be gone entirely, lost to the world I just left. But the experience of transference takes a heavy toll on my strength. Forcing myself to stand, I staggered my feet with a hand on my desk for support. I found myself unable to do anything but stand idle in the cold, empty room. My tired eyes stare blankly out the window, the moon's dim light reflecting off the bare branches of winter. Silence hangs in the air, moonlight illuminating motes of dust floating in the evening's darkness. My head feels empty, no matter how hard I try to form such much as a fleeting thought. Simple exhaustion, I tell myself. With little desire to do anything else, I begin to walk to the bathroom before settling in for the night. The floor still bears the scars of my work. The blood, the book which started all laying open amid a disorganized desk. With some cleaning supplies, I'd wash off some of this mess, I think to myself. Sometime. The nebulous sometime.
「夏の花は枯れ、秋の葉は落ちる。移ろいゆく世界に私たちは抗う運命にある。人間の永遠の愚行に対して、そして冬の雪が舞い降りる。」
Ooh, opening. Well, that is a clean trance.
お願い、もう来るななんて言わないで。安江にもっと会いたいの。
この世界に初めて来たのが、むしろほのかのような人でよかったわ。
私はいつもどんなに些細なことでも世の中を正したいって思ってる。
あの生活を裏で支えていたものを知ってからは、自分の手が血で汚れているように
Blood
思
on
え
your
てならなかっ
hands.
結構よ。私を憎みたければ憎めばいい。
Oh, ma'am. Ooh. Oh.
あ、タイズ・イン・ブラッド。血のちぎり。
Act 1, Scene 2. The Free-Spirited Librarian. With the taste of coffee for the station lingering in my mouth, I idly watch the scenery stroll by with weary eyes. Another day begins, my daily routine now so deeply ingrained that getting to the university requires little more than muscle memory. We're gonna chase ghosts. Yeah, I think we're going to try and solve the mystery of the closed space that Yasue is trapped in. I feel like that's the route we're taking here. Well, I may want to visit Yasue again. Practicing blood magic won't be possible until my body has some more time to recover. Until then, I have little choice but to live out another day in this world. I count it among my worst traits. I've always had a tendency to eavesdrop. My attention drifts from one conversation between passengers to another, living vicariously through others without the bother of involvement in their lives. Others seem to be in a good mood from overheard clips of conversations. One salaryman talks to another about looking forward to the end of the week, being a Friday. Schoolboys chat about their plans for the weekend and new games they're into. My life may have stopped, but some of those of others have kept moving. Plugging my phone from my bag for a distraction, I begin to check various messaging apps to get across what I've missed. Plans are made and rumors spread, while cute pictures and jokes are posted. While I might have tried to keep in contact with friends from previous schooling, we inevitably drifted apart without the connection of being classmates. She's so real for that she's just like me, for real, for real. These days, such morning browsing just covers the day's news in message board threads. It's funny how different this is to Yasue's time. She couldn't... Screeching the train's brakes puts an abrupt halt to my thoughts. People yelping in surprise at the unexpected shuddering. The stop is so sudden that I've fallen if not for putting a foot out before me. Rude. Momentary chaos at an end, I right myself and slip my phone back into my bag. Discontented passengers question and murmur as the train comes to a stop far from any station, soon quieting as a monotone voice from above echoes about the carriage. Maybe we are going to solve a murder. I don't know. Why does that look like a dog there on that television screen? Like a MC Escher dog. The short, almost curt message only causes more consternation among the passengers. Others around me begin to quietly chat between themselves, some wondering if it's a train ahead of us broken down, or if the bitter cold has caused line problems. Some wonder about aloud if someone's died, the scandalous excitement of their whispers barely hidden. It's the funny Aranpa. Yes, Red. Hello, Dark. Seconds turn to minutes, the train showing no signs of moving for some time yet. More impatient passengers pace about the aisle, though most settle into reading books or phones. With the heat inside only growing more stifling, I look out at the snow-covered wind-covered world outside with some longing. As I do, a movement catches my eye for the tracks below. Eh? Catching a glimpse of blue, I realize I've seen something I shouldn't have. A man in light blue coveralls slowly makes his way along the gravel toward the front of the train, his face downcast. Dirty gloves hold a large roll of blue tarpaulin under his right arm. Oh fuck, someone's dead. And in a slight shift of tone, Dark is years old today. Happy birthday! A number I'm definitely not old enough to have to think about. That's a mood, Dark. Happy birth. Here's a dead body on the train tracks. Oh dear. An unfortunate sighting in the very gray and depressing time of year here in Sapporo. I've seen that material in the news. There's only one reason it would be used here and now. Suddenly finding myself restless, I turn back toward the other passengers. All that faces me is a scene of mild discontent at their mundane routine disrupted, ignorant to the cause. Present, just for you, a dead body. Oh dear. Yeah, the implications here are not pleasant. Aside from those implications, happy birthday to you, Doc. Hope we've had a good one. Without anything to do with the knowledge I have, I simply take out my phone and begin to scroll through the news feeds once more. And so, one more passenger discontentedly waits for their routine to resume. Day slowly draws to an end, and my last daylight hour is spent in the university library, as they often are. The desk where the elderly librarian once sat lies empty, her shawl left draped over the chair's back as a small, perhaps unintended tribute. Ever since she retired, the school had struggled to hire another. Two of us had shared a silent agreement. I often remained in the library long past closing time, allowed to study while providing quiet company to the old lady as she worked to close up for the day. I enjoyed our quiet coexistence, free from expectations of more. Oh! A book sliding into place on the shelf ahead rouses me from my reverie, the new librarian, busily working away. One Shino Kikuchi, according to the email which introduced the newest member of the staff. Only hired in the last month, she's a stark difference from her elder in so many ways, not the least of which being her age. If I had to guess, she'd be in her early 20s at most. At least one thing is alike between them. She, too, lets me stay well into the evenings. Perhaps the old librarian passed a note to her. I'm thankful in any case. I hate being an imposition, but the school provides a far better environment for studying, given the solitude and loneliness of my faraway home. Looking back down to the book before me, a mundane bit of research material for my course. The words begin to dance as I try to read. The more I try to focus on the passages, the more my thoughts skate away. The same happened with lectures throughout the day. Oh no, my poor little kitty got into a fight today and he's out of sorts. I think he'll be okay tomorrow. Oh. I'm gonna say, hopefully he didn't get hurt. Hopefully he's just startled and can recover from that. Quick question. Yes. This is a Studio Élan game, so Yuri is guaranteed. Doc. One shudder. Another. Those last moments before the train stopped was what a human's life ending feels like. That instant their wanderings in this world ended. And also, be warned, Scars. What other games have they made? Oh ho ho. I think we'll talk about that once we get past here. Yet I have no other to tell. The same goes for the bandages running up my arm. They serve as an ever-present reminder of how little I have in common with anyone around me.
もっと早くに言っとくべきだったよね。付き合ってくれてありがとう。
Oh ho ho. So clever. Studio Élan. Let me just talk about them for a second here. Running. It's up here. They have made quite a lot of good yuri. Let's say, way back in 2016, they made Highway Blossoms. Pretty much a Las Vegas desert trucking simulation. Not simulation. Desert trucking story. girl named Amber picks up a hitchhiker. Rich girl named... God, I'm blanking. Yeah, it takes place in the American Southwest. What is the Steam trailer? What is a Steam trailer? Hey, hang on. Actual footage of Highway Blossom development. Yeah, just look at the Steam page for Highway Blossoms and watch the second trailer. I was not expecting that when I first pulled up the Steam page for Highway Blossoms, but Highway Blossoms I haven't played, but I've seen playthroughs of. Heart of the Woods I played on stream, which is somewhere in the vaguely German small village fantasy story about a ghost hunting podcast crew going up there to hunt the rumors of some ghosts. There's supernatural shenanigans. There's ghost yuri. There's heartbreak, and there's heartfelt resolution. Heart of the Woods is really good. I think you'll like that. National Park Girls about the ranger in Yosemite who helps protect and the sprightly girls who claim to be manifestations of the national parks. Heard that's really good too. They published Please Be Happy, which is more mythological implications here, which is the best fox girl Miho with two love interests, vampire and human. So if you want your vampire Yuri clever, you should play Please Be Happy. In fact, I might play Please Be Happy on stream. Twofold. I played Twofold on stream, which is great. It was published under the Bell, which was not developed by Studio Élan. Yosemite Samantha and Yuri Bear. Oh. I think you're right. Alright, anyways, enough distraction. We are being talked to. The unexpected voice from the shelves ahead made my head jerk upwards. I hadn't realized how rattled I'd been for the morning's experience, my heart only now returning to its normal pace now that I have a distraction. Like so many others, the woman wears a smile so easily. I can't help but muse how odd she looks for a librarian, from her athletic clothing, to how every movement belies a barely suppressed energy.
私こそ長居させてくれてありがとう。
Evidently bored of her menial work and shelving books, Shino takes my reply as an invitation to have a proper conversation. Setting down the book in her hand, she comes over and spins a chair about, sitting herself sideways in a rather inelegant way. Oh, I like her already. While the relationship between Yasue and I might have a certain push and pull as we feel out each other's boundaries, Shino has no such concerns. Even now her bright eyes move from me to the textbook in my hands, happily seizing on an opening to get closer to me.
イタリア語を読めるの？すごいじゃん。私も言語はいくつか知ってるよ。世界とつながってるって感じがするよね。
そうかも。私は単位のためだけど。
Editor's note, she lied. So she wants to chat. That too is a difference between Shino and the previous librarian. One I like rather less. The introvert's curse. Something throws me off about her. All the more now that we're close. I can't quite put my finger on it, though, making me feel bad once again for being so distrustful towards someone so friendly. As if in answer to my want to end the conversation, a playful ping resounds from Shino's pocket. Her hand dives into her pocket, quickly retrieving her phone to examine the message. Her face lights up as she starts reading, the woman looking like a child given a new toy. She begins scrolling something or other with her full attention. I don't particularly mind. We all have our appointments and such. A minute or so later, she fumbles with the on-screen Kana keyboard, slowly dragging her thumb across the grid to carefully type in her reply. Noticing my slightly baffled staring upon sending her message, she gives a grin.
こういうのって本当にすごいよね。一昔前はただのチャットスペースだったのに、今じゃサイバースペース全部がポケットの中に収まるんだもん。世界中の誰とでも簡単につながれるし、図書館の蔵書も丸ごと収容できちゃう。
You got a whole cyberspace now right here in your pocket, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel like that's a very old person. That's a very old person wording. I feel like. What an antiquated. Okay, he's just straight up called it out. What an antiquated way of speaking. I never heard cyberspace used by anyone, at least not without a thick sense of irony. Without intending to, I letting my confusion show on my face. I should just look on the screen. Honoka noticed it too. We really are alike, Honoka.
あれ、なんか変なこと言ったかな。
別に。ただ、最近はみんなスマホに慣れてると思ってたから。
Hey, yo, you seen this shit, girl? A fucking cell phone, bruv. She quickly puts her phone away in her pocket and takes to her feet once more, slightly embarrassed for my picking up on it.
ああ、それはなんていうか。私はほら、田舎育ちだから、こういうのを使うようになったのってつい最近のことでさ。
Oh, computers and smartphones are new. I suppose being a country bumpkin would explain it. Though I thought even the most remote corners of Japan would at least have the cheaper smartphones around by now. Someone like Shino finds phones so exciting, maybe Yasue will too. Getting any signal for internet access is obviously a non-starter though.
じゃあ、どうして都会に来たの？
一言で言えば冒険かな。いろんな仕事を転々として、その時々に興味があることをやってる。
ここの仕事も次が見つかるまでのつなぎってこと？どれ？
She gives a simple shrug.
飽きるまでかな。
An odd attitude. I'd vaguely heard of people who drift from job to job as their whims take them. This is my first time meeting someone like that. I'd be lying if I said I weren't a little envious of her approach to things. I like the staging of this scene. Just shadowed out sprite from the back, and Shino obviously standing in front of her. I like that.
それって大変じゃない？
We need to introduce her to Mountain Dew. Shino would be bouncing off the walls of the library if we gave her Mountain Dew.
別に心のありようさえずれてなければ生きるのはぐんと楽になるよ。生き方を決めるのって大事だと思うな。私はいつもどんなに些細なことでも世の中を正したいって思ってる。それさえ忘れなきゃ今目の前で起きてることなんて大した問題じゃない。
Always try to set things right in the world if I can keep myself to thinking that what's going on at any one time isn't a big deal. Huh. God, I hate myself for wanting to make a reference to the most white man reference I could possibly make here. It's the Jack Reacher. Wanders, takes odd jobs wherever he goes, does strong man help people shit. Enough about that. Banish that. Words are said with such innocent naivety that I'm thrown off by the strange one before me. Not that I disbelieve that a drive to accomplish something is good, but more that it's hard to believe someone when they so earnestly cling to it. Practically anything I've gotten myself into of late would be problematic to actually discuss with someone else, leaving me with nothing to continue the conversation. Thus the distance between myself and others grows that little bit more. That isn't to say that carefree librarian is wrong, though. If there's any cause, any single thing that I can believe in, it's freeing Yasue from that sealed world. She of all people doesn't deserve that fate, and I alone have the knowledge to even find her. Prompted by the thought of Yasue, my mind soon begins wandering of its own accord. If she wants to talk, I might as well try to get something useful out of her.
魔術師のこと何か知ってる？
急に話題が変わったね。
Yeah.
ついこの前医者をやってる魔術師の記事を読んだの。それでちょっと気になって。
That's not entirely a lie. The odd news article or documentary about mages catches my eye these days, now that I know one. Chino shifts about, discomfited by the subject. Quickly tries to paper over her reaction upon realizing I've noticed.
気になる存在ではあるよね。珍しいから実際に魔術を使っているところなんてなかなかお目にかかれないし。
Really?
それもそうだけど、全く違う人生を歩んできた人がすぐそばにいるのに、誰もそれに気づかないって不思議だなって、そう思わない？
平均的な魔術師は普通の人とあまり変わらない。なのに魔術に不信感を持たれちゃうのは残念だよね。この町の魔術師は目立たないようにしてるみたいだけど。それに力の強い魔術師となれば話は別じゃない？ヨーロッパだともっと堂々と暮らしてるみたいだし、古くから続く血統の魔術師は城を持ってることもある。自然の法則を破れるなら政府が手出しできる相手じゃないしね。だからこそみんな魔術師に対して慎重になるんだろうね。異質なものを恐れるのは人の常だもん。
I can only imagine how powerful a mage must have been to seal away a whole portion of the world. The entirety of old Sapporo and its people, carved away from reality and lingering for an eternity. How anyone there hasn't gone mad is beyond me. You can replace powerful mages with lesbians and nothing would change. You're so true. In Europe, they live way more openly, have ancient lesbian bloodlines, who own whole palaces. Honestly, good for them. They own their own palaces. And they can break the laws of nature on a whim. Their power is untold, and I support them dearly. She knows earnestness is no less visible on this topic than the last. Her angst over people's dislike of mage is quite clear. She hardly ever seems the type to hide her feelings, running her some degree of trust, even if I do dislike her nosiness. Realizing the time is getting on as the sun begins to set further, I file away Shino as a potential source of information as I get up and slide the book into my bag.
もう帰るの？
疲れすぎないうちに帰らなきゃ。今日も長居させてくれてありがとう。
いつでも大歓迎。広い図書館で一人きり、延々と本を片付け続けるだけなんて寂しいもん。
Oh, I like her. With that, I give an appreciative nod before pulling my coat from the seat and slinging it over my shoulder, my bag following before I start shuffling out of the library. It wasn't a lie that I needed to head back before I got too tired, but the reason goes unsaid. Tonight, I'll renew my efforts in studying my other reading material. If I'm to devote myself to some cause or another, then that cause will be something only I can do. My concerns already begin to feel fleeting as I focus myself on the task ahead. From now, my purpose in life will be freeing Yasue from her gilded cage. Scene 3, a different time. Ooh, Sword and spear ring out as they clash, voices bellowing and men falling as their vibrant cloth swirls around in the violence. No less vivid are the heartfelt expressions, from the deepest fury to a most devastating anguish. From my seat in the audience, I watch on silently with rapt fascination. Chushingura, a tale of 47 ronin in their quest to avenge their master, caught between loyalty to their late lord and duty to the shogunate. The story reaches its bloody conclusion, the villain cut down and their lord's spirit at peace. For going against the shogun, however, all will sacrifice themselves for their deeds. Stirring performance, the actor's heartfelt cries and gestures, feeling more visceral than any picture on a screen. Like most my age, I thought theater was a little old-fashioned, obsoleted by movies and TV shows. How wrong I was. Crowd's applause, joined by my own, echoes out as the heavy curtain draws across the stage. With their fine work coming to an end, the play is apparently frequently performed here, being very popular in its time and a favorite of Yasue. I was gonna say, and there's the film, which I'm pretty sure stars Keanu Reeves. Yeah, because of course it did. Better Keanu Reeves than Tom Cruise. It's no wonder either. This is a heartfelt tale of honor in an era of in search of a cause. And in the tumultuous upheaval of a feudal society becoming a modern imperial power, it's inevitable that many would remember a simpler, somewhat fictional past. Chushingura even resonates with someone like me. It isn't that honor doesn't exist anymore in my own time, albeit in a different form, but that it's distant, something you only ever hear on the news. Oh. The curtains soon withdraw once more, slowly revealing the performers and their director. Yasue stands at the center of the stage, bowing with so many men flanking her. Some are sturdy, while others are slender. Some are elegant, and others brutish. All natures and appearances are represented, each having given their all in the grand play. Oh! Yet none of the actors were human. Oh! Another round of applause and surge from the crowd, who are no less delighted by the illusion than the performance itself. Of course, I'm among them, but how many times I see it, Yasue's magic still amazes me. No wonder she looks so tired. That is something else. With little to occupy myself with following the play, and little desire to intrude into the lives of others, I quietly wait for Yasue outside the large venue, a task made easier by the cool night air. Life goes by slowly here. That contrast is one of the most jarring things about our two worlds. Even the most patient modern people have a sense of urgency about them. They're always thinking of things they need to do, people to meet, and news to read. Here, the old man urging his horse on simply pines for a meal and a bath, his day's work over. Oh, yeah. As Yasue finally leaves the venue, I call out to her, the way her shoulders relax a little when she sees me waiting. Doesn't go missed.
楽しんでもらえたかしら。
ええ、とても。普段歌舞伎や舞台なんて無縁の生活だけど、それでも感動したよ。
Yasue gives an indulgent smile at the praise, the two of us starting on our way down the street. It's hard to believe that the road we walk is the very same one I've often visited downtown. The street layout, uncannily familiar. Even as we walk, the odd passerby gives an appreciative bow or word of thanks to Yasue. Her only response each time is a humble, almost shy bow. Yasue must be one of those grand mages Shino mentioned, yet she herself never mentioned how powerful she was. Far from finding herself flustered by those around her, she instead turns to me for conversation.
一つ聞きたいことがあるの。現代でもまだ歌舞伎は人気があるのかしら。私の劇場はまだ残っていて。
I feel a little pained by your clear hope for a different answer that I can give. Dawn, are we looking at lesbians? Yes, we very much are, Rev. Hello. We have girls across time. This is Honoka. She's from the present. And next to us we have Yasue, who is from Sapporo, a century in the past. And Yasue is also a mage. Can't believe Dawn could be lesbians for my birthday. The true birthday present, a much better birthday present than you initially came in on. Modernity continued, unquestioned. Her theater is little more than a small plaque in the real world, one of many minor landmarks commuters unknowingly walk by every day. Were it not for Yasue's interest in the topic, I wouldn't have noticed that unremarkable sign myself. Said plaque never mentioned Yasue, though. Odd, for someone who seems to have practically created the venue's reputation.
今はいろんなエンタ娯楽があるから劇場に通ってるのは年配の方が多いかな。
We just, and also, Rev, we just watched the a kabuki performance of the Tale of 47 Ronin. So naturally, our goal is to get Yasue to the present day to show her the 2013 movie 47 Ronin starring Keanu Reeves.
でも本州だとまだ観客は多い方。札幌は本州ほどじゃないけどアマチュアのって素人上がりの人たちの歌舞伎が時々上演されてる。
I try to put as positive a spin on it as I can, but the slight clouding to her expression is enough to see I failed. Difficult to communicate just how much she's missed out in over 100 years. Much of it harrowing and depressing. Trying to move the topic to more palatable ground, I speak first.
ねえ、いろんな魔術を使えるのにどうして歌舞伎に使おうと思ったの？
魔術師というのはね、時々妙なことをしたがるものなの。私たちの本質は普通の社会ではあまり受け入れられないものだから、関わりを持たずに生きているうちに変容していく。でも皆が私の術に目を輝かせているのを見て、歌舞伎をなりわいにしようと心に決めたの。妹にも普通の人々と関わっていきたいという思いがあればよかったのに。
Oh, sister? She never mentioned she has a sister. Even now her words more mumbled to herself than directed toward me.
魔術師ってあんまりいなさそう。私、あなたに会うまで一人も知らなかった。
札幌のことしかわからないけれど、そうね、区内に数十人いるかどうかというところかしら。ほとんどは力を隠して過ごしているか、人里離れた場所でひっそりと暮らしているから、正確な数はわからないの。
自分の力に気づいていない人がいる可能性は？
Yasue gives a reflexive snort at the idea, the crude amusement at odds with her otherwise calm and collected nature. He soon answers my confused reaction.
それは考えられないわ。視力に気づいていないも同然だもの。魔術師が自分の魔術の感覚に気づかないなんてありえないことよ。
It's an interesting descriptor. If it is even a descriptor, if we could even call it that, it's just saying their sense of magic says so much, I think.
あ、そうなんだ。ごめん、私本当に何も知らなくて。
Like it's just a thing you're aware of that's a part of you, like your sight and hearing and touch.
そうでしょうね。でもあなたはこの閉ざされた世界をやすやすと行き来しているようね。
I think to myself about how to communicate such a thing, ending up with another clumsy analogy just as Yasue has used.
一言で言えば石を握ってるような感覚かな。手を離すだけ。だから元の世界に戻るのは簡単。でもこっちの世界に来るのは 地面にある石を浮かせるような感じ。今は確実にできるけど、やっぱりまだ実感は湧かない。
Also, Rev, since you missed this, the start of this, Honoka here uses blood magic to get here. Hence the title, A Tithe in Blood. A tithe in blood paid to cross over to this sealed world.
って言えば分かってもらえるかな。
Also the blood vibes.
ええ、実に理にかなっているわね。私も魔術について聞かれたらそう説明すると思う。
Ooh. With this, she emphasizes her point by conjuring a fan into her hand.
魔術は物理法則に反するもの。私たちは現実を否定しているわけだから、現実は何であれ魔術を使われることに反作用を生じさせる。だから魔術の効果を維持させるには力を込め続けなくてはならないの。ほのかの言葉を借りれば、石を浮かべておくにはしっかり握っておくというところでしょうね。
I like that faint glow in her eyes when the magic's
そ
active.
して手を緩めると。
With this, her fan dematerializes in a moment.
石が地面に落ちるということ。もしかしたらほのかは自分で思っているよりも魔術のことをよく分かっているのかもしれないわね。
そんな、まだまだ知らなきゃいけないことだらけだよ。私、質問してばかりだよね。嫌ならごめん。
Say, 2 points for your take, Clever. One, this is going to be a very long. This is going to be a longer game when the full version comes out. It is. Yeah, this is just a demo for starters. And 2, so yeah, it's gonna build. It's a slow burn.
とんでもない。あなたの好奇心は素敵よ。お友達に聞いたことは？
Like we've started off right in the middle. No one's getting murdered. Like we've already established the core of this. The goal of the game is to figure out why Yasue has been imprisoned, has been sealed away here, and how to fix it.
友達なんていないよ。誰かと仲良くなれる性格でもないし。
あら、私にはそうは思えないけれど。実はね、この世界に来るのがわざと年だけを積んですっかり傲慢になった年寄りの魔術師だったらどうしようかと心配していたの。
She gives an earnest smile to show her sincerity. Maybe it's only our being forced together by these strange circumstances, but having the company of Yasue is something I'm grateful for. For all she accepts my questioning of her, Yasue never pries into my own affairs. Besides, everyone would seem approachable to her. So many walk up to Yasue in the street, that powerful mage thinking nothing of speaking to them as equals. It would be so easy to become aloof and arrogant with that kind of power. Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time there was a magical pocket dimension with lesbians in it trapped in time, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. He's so easygoing and has so many skills and interests. In every way, Yasue is a far better person than I. Oh, Honoka. How unfair it is that someone like her instead of me would be so cruelly sealed away. God, You turn a corner, Yasue's soft voice speaks again. Honoka, why are you so just like me? For real, for real.
もう一つ聞きたいことがあったの。どうして私を強い魔術師だと思ったの？比べられる魔術師の知り合いなんていないでしょ？
大学の新しい師匠がおしゃべり好きだから魔術のことを聞いてみたの。自分が使うもののことは知っておきたいし。
まあ大学生なのね。すごいわ。何を勉強しているのか聞いてもいいかしら。
Do you know what you're studying? I'm a little taken aback by Yasue's excitement for remembering the context. University must have been rare to get into in her time, let alone for a woman.
人文学よ。主に文学ね。
Maybe it is required for you to agree.
この世界が役に立ちそうなこと。
西洋文学なの。
Whoops. The pace of the conversation comes to a stop. Yasue left with an awkward smile. We almost find a common wavelength so often, only to miss by so little each time. Then again, if it hadn't been for my interest in European literature, I'd never ordered that book on blood magic. I wouldn't have had the patience to slowly read through the handwritten pages either, my well-thumbed Italian dictionary at hand all the while.
ここで聞いた情報を使わせてもらうとしても、参考文献一覧にどう書けばいいの？友達から聞いた話とか？
あら、友達はいないんじゃなかったの？
Yeah. Got her. That was a cheap rhetorical trap, and her teasing face shows she knows it. That's it, I find myself rolling the idea around in my mind like a sweet friend. Thought suddenly comes to mind that I brought something along, thanks to chatting with Shino days earlier. My hand dives in my pocket to retrieve my phone. Before I can show it to her, a cheerful red packet slips out and falls to the ground first. What's this? Yasue's curiosity takes control as she quickly stoops down and takes it in her hands. Chocolate!
これは？
あ、それ今まですっかり忘れちゃってた。チョコレートを持ってきたの。
We are introducing chocolate to the past. Yasue hardly hears me, entirely captivated by the relic of my world as she turns the packet this way and that. She's probably unable to read the English branding and unused to the modern packaging to begin with. It's a little charming, actually. She's hardly shy about her bewilderment, instead happily playing with the foil edges and trying to make sense of the slogans and marketing.
チョコレート。聞いたことがあるわ。確か東京で売られている薬だったかしら。それがとうとう北海道にも来たの？
これは薬じゃなくてただの食べ物よ。お菓子って言えばいいかな。
Oh, it's totally medicine. It makes you smile. It cures what ails you. She's not making a secret of wanting to eat it, very visibly stopping herself from asking. I feel like a mother whose kid is begging at the store.
食べていいよ。高くないものだし。
I love her smile, huh? Oh, a little startled by how quickly she begins to work on the wrapper and how clumsily she rips it apart. It's easy to forget just how ingrained so many everyday things are to a modern person, like the specific way packets are designed to open. She gives Yasue a Baja Blast and a beacon of light, blue light, erupts from her eyes and mouth, Avatar finale style. Oh! Ascending to a higher plane of existence, unlocking true magic with the power of Baja Blast. No sooner does she take a mouthful of the chocolate inside than her face lights up in delight.
とっても甘いのね。
She continues munching away, raising her free hand to poorly hide her chewing mouth.
現代には本当に素敵なものがたくさんあるのね。
So Yasue has a sweet tooth. Wonder when sugary treats reach to Hokkaido. She might have only ever had bean and rice-based confectionery. Sugar would be terribly sweet compared to anything she's had before. As she savors the last few morsels from the packet, I reach in and take the phone from my pocket once more, usually having left it charging when I came here in the past. Yasue gulps down the last of her chocolates as I bring it up between us, her puzzled face reflecting off its shiny black screen. Take a selfie! He jerks back a little in surprise as the screen lights up. Eager to see what she makes of it, I unlock the phone and hand it over to her. What's this terrifying...
これは？
電話よ。
電話？
触っていいよ。この画面に触れたらいろんなことができるから。
Yasue immediately starts scrolling through Honoka's emails. Give a couple of taps here and there and show opening up an app and such, before Yasue gives it a try for herself. I don't think she quite understands it at all, but her face lights up as she slowly gets the hang of it. As Yasue fiddles about, she managed to discover moving things by dragging left and right, and opening controls by tapping completely by herself. I'm surprised she worked it out so quickly. I suppose she's still just human. It's not like I understand how a phone really works, I just use it. I push the buttons and it works. Determined.
あら、
Camera
あ
app.
れは
We're gonna take a selfie. As she lowers the phone for me to see, it appears Yasue has managed to open the camera app. The viewfinder currently pointed down at our feet.
最近の携帯電話はね、カメラとしても使えるの。ほら、このボタンを押せば写真を撮れるよ。
This is my magic. The idea seems to have stumped an already perplexed Yasue. Oh, yeah. I take the phone back to guide her through how the camera works, changing to the front camera and holding it up to show both of us on the screen. It's admittedly a little clumsy. I've been one for selfies and keep trying to move the phone the wrong way to keep us in the shot. Look with sheer glee on Yasue's face when it all clicks for her, though. As seen on the screen before us, makes it all worth it. I cannot but smile at the absurdity of the situation as the two of us crowd into the swaying frame. Yeah, selfie time. With some difficulty I managed to somehow maneuver a finger onto the shutter button, finally taking the shot with a loud click. Bringing the phone down between us, I show Yasue the saved photo, her face leaning in close to take in every detail.
信じられないわ。色が鮮やかで、それにじっとしていなくてもいいのね。ねえ、どうしてこんなに早く現像できるの？
The true modern magic. Even Honoka, I too am terrible at taking selfies. Whenever I go places with Mom and my sister, we end up taking a selfie together. I'm always the one holding the phone. It's like the longest arms of them. And I'm just, I somehow coming up looking like an awful gremlin in the photo.
それは説明するのがちょっと難しいかも。でも、携帯電話で撮った写真は現像しなくていいの。フィルムに写してるわけじゃないから。
So used to the digital era that the days of the film camera slipped my mind. So I replaced the phone in my pocket. Yasue writes herself, but the excited energy from her new discovery still remains. I have to remind myself yet again that this woman's actually the older of us.
ありがとう、ほのか。こんなに長く本物の世界を感じたのは初めてよ。今は何という時代なの？
Ah, good question.
明治の後、大正、昭和、平成ときて、今は令和よ。
Yeah, we are in Reiwa now.
令和。いい響きね。きっと素晴らしい暮らしを送っているんでしょうね。
The problem is that all the conveniences of modern life have left us in such a monotony that it's easy to fall into a depressing slump.
それに食べ物も。さっきのチョコレート、すごく美味しかったもの。
I don't want to ruin the mood. You're so happy. I hold my tongue, but it's all so ordinary to me that I hardly notice such things day to day. To Yasue, though, this might as well be another world entirely. Her childlike joy is quite charming, and feels nice to have helped her, however accidental it might have been. I wonder how long it's been since I have. I'm so wrapped up in my own feelings that it takes a moment to realize Yasue's attention has shifted back to me.
ほのかは笑っている方がいいわ。
Oh. In a moment, my face collapses. It's not that I hate her well-meaning compliment. It somehow doesn't feel right to smile. After everything that's happened.
安江はどうしていつも笑っていられるの？閉じ込められた後でさえも。
だってもう100年以上経ったのよ。年も人々もこの世界も何一つ変わらないまま。昔はこんな風じゃなかったのよ。一番辛かったのはこの世界から抜け出そうとしていた頃でしょうね。失敗するたびに愛する人たちと過ごせる時間が失われていくのを感じていたから。
period when I entertained escape was the worst. Because the hope and losing it hurt most.
でもどうして年を取らないの？ちっとも年を取ってるように見えない。
They sneakily trying to ask.
あら、ありがとう。魔術師の中でも特に力の強い者は自分の魔術で老化を遅らせることができるの。普通の人の3倍、いえ、それ以上に長生きする人もいるわ。あっさりと諦めることもできたけれど、私は。
お？
ここで死ぬわけにはいかなかった。あの子が私をさまよわせるべく作ったこの牢獄で死ぬわけにはいかなかったのよ。
Oh,
あの子への復讐。
it's the first time I catch a glimpse of something darker in her. Without thinking, I take a step back, my chest tightening at the change from her otherwise gentle nature. Yeah. In my final play, if only she still lived. Eh. The cheerful red packet crumpling up in her tightening hand reminds her of the here and now. Yasue forcing the thoughts from her mind given my presence. It's only natural to hate anyone who did such a thing to her. I didn't know she had such anger bottled up.
ほのかには関係のない話よね。この話はここまでにしましょう。そういえば、ほのかの世界は随分と様変わりしているようね。おズボンが一般的なのかしら？
Ah, pants. Gives a small smile, trying to distract herself with a lighter topic. I can't help but feel awful, but I humor Yasue for her sake. I wouldn't say it to her now of all times, but this world reminds me a little of a snow globe, a small slice of the world, captured at one point in time and now everlasting. A world where the company of strangers is all she had.
そうだけど安心して。着物や浴衣もお祭りや行事の時に着てる人は多いから。私も最近の花火大会で浴衣を着たよ。
まあ、ぜひ見てみたいわ。きっと似合うでしょうね。
Every so often she oversteps into undeserving compliments. I get that she wants to put me at ease, though.
子供の頃の一番古い記憶の一つが、浴衣を着て出かける準備は万端だったのに、祭りが中止になったことでね。
Oh, that
泣いて
background.
ダダをこねる私を慰めようと、両親がホタルを見に連れて行ってくれたの。
That's her in the background.
あの時のホタルは花火よりも綺麗だった。夜の闇に浮かび上がる光が子供心に魔法みたいだと思ったの。
Don't worry, while the e-girls have their pasties, they still wear kimonos at festivals and stuff, yeah. Hmm?
素敵な思い出だこと。ホタルなんてもうずっと見ていないわ。
Fireflies.
私も環境汚染が進んで自然が減ってきてるから、ホタルが見られる場所を見つけるのって難しいの。
Oh, feels bad. I feel an altogether too familiar pang of regret at mentioning my family. Body going cold at the idea of having to think about this any further. This is the one place I'm free from that feeling. Why did I have to bring them up? Please don't ask anything further about them, Yasue, please. She's about to... No, she's very savvy and notices when things are... Oh no. Soon that wish becomes altogether too true. The silence makes it clear Yasue's been taken off guard, acutely aware of the topic to avoid. I feel pain from clutching at my arm and decide to use the one excuse to leave I told myself I wouldn't.
そろそろ戻らなきゃ。疲れちゃった。
そう、ゆっくり休んでね。何より私を友達と言ってくれて嬉しいわ。誰にだって友達は必要だもの。自分ではそう思えなくてもね。だからこそ私は劇場を続けてきたのよ。
Everyone needs some, even if you might not believe it.
ありがとう、ヤスエ。また来るから。
With that, I take a deep breath and close my eyes. Even as the magic begins to take hold, my mind is elsewhere. Can't make the world a better place as Shino is working towards. I'm too selfish and too useless to do something like that. What I can do is help this one person. God, our girl's got issues. Thank you for playing this demo for A Tithe in Blood. If you leave some feedback to improve the final game, please fill out this survey. Girls are waiting for you. Let's meet again. Studio Élan. Aw. Okay, so we're barely scratching the surface of what's going on in Honoka's head here. That is ooey. But at the very least, all but confirms what it felt like he was implying there at the start. With because at the very beginning, Honoka was talking about thinking about selling the house, moving to an apartment closer to school. His art, though, yeah, it's good. It's real good. It got everything we've seen so far has been really good. What can I say? It's but yeah, definitely the implication, which not enough taxes. I'm sure the property taxes Honoka's been left with aren't great. I don't know how that works in Japan, but it's probably not as well. It's taxes are taxes. My partner is thousands of miles away. Oh no, real. It's a game if my attention span can take it. Well, I mean, if nothing else, hopefully you can at least enjoy a little reading and storytelling from yours truly. Because yeah, this is definitely what we've got so far is just like scratching the surface of the first act of this game. We've it's interesting that we've sort of started like in medias res with Honoka and Yasue together. Like the first time we see Honoka do blood magic is not the first time they've met, and it feels intentional because it was how do we say? We very clearly flash back to Honoka's first time here. That might get fleshed out more. I don't know. We'll see. But let's see, we've only met Sheena as far as our side characters are concerned. I'm very curious to see. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm very curious to see how that sort of progresses. And realistically, what we're picking up on from Honoka's perspective is coming to that, finding that vague purpose of freeing Yasue from this. And that vague purpose of freeing Yasue of this, as we saw in that last ending scene, is going to uncork something much darker if Yasue's comment about revenge is anything to go off of. So something dark locked, something bad happened to this gal, and locked her in here, and left her locked in here, and left her fighting to get out, and left her fighting to get out. After a while, she just sort of gave up on it and just left it happen. And just sort of got used to her life here. We have the vagueness of What happens when we start uncorking that past here? What happens if when we start to give Yasue some kind of hope again? We don't even know what the other characters here have going on for us. And how they'll even be involved in the in terms of past Sapporo here. But I'm gonna see, we've just saw this get going, really. We've just saw the hints of what's to come. It's really interesting. I'm really curious to see how this comes along down the line. Because my experience with Studio Élan games is that they hurt so good. They hurt so good. It will get you. It will make you suffer. And you will cry. But it'll feel worth it in the end. So I think... Let's see. I could find something else to do for the rest of the time, but I think we'll just raid out from here.